welcome to another episode of Canary Knits. I'm your host, Antoinette. Today I have projects upon projects upon projects upon projects. And I took notes this week. So I have a bunch of different segments about how I made things, some different little video clips I'll put in. If you follow me on TikTok, you've probably seen some of the clips. But if you don't and you would like to, all of my contact information will be linked below, as well as the yarns and tools that I use in this video will be linked. If you have a question about anything, please leave it in the comments. Or if you just want to say, hey, I'd love to hear from you. I know there are some of you out there, right? Hey. Yeah, I'm Antoinette. I am I'm a lot of things. I am a latinx, queer, blue-collar, single-parent cat mom who has a passion for knitting and crocheting, spinning a little bit here and there. I'd like to do more, but I've been knitting and crocheting since I was about 12, and I am almost 40. You can follow me on social media. I try to post frequently outfits and things. I have a passion for fashion, so I've been posting different outfits and things and having a lot of fun with it. I am having so much fun making this hat, but I will talk more about that in works in progress, which is coming up soon because I only have one finished object, and I will show that to you now. Okay, my one little finished object of the past couple weeks is a scarf, and this is made out of Lion Brand Mandala Sparkle in the color Draco, and it's really beautiful. I made this kind of as a yarn sample. If you follow my shorts or my TikTok or anything, you've definitely seen this yarn, but it worked up to be really beautiful. Check it out. It sparkles. Yeah. I just made a garter stitch scarf, just pretty basic, and just really enjoyed the colors as they developed in the yarn. I originally, when I started out working with this yarn, I thought that I wanted to crochet it. So here's like a little, you can tell I wasn't counting my stitches. Here's a little sample of the crochet in this yarn, the Draco, Mandala Ombre colorway Draco. It's a worsted weight yarn. To me, it's a light worsted weight, but it is a worsted weight yarn. And yeah, I think, honestly, I think it's really beautiful, knit or crocheted. I switched to knitting because I tend to like my accessories knit. So I have been around for a while and I've noticed that I have preferences. I like my accessories knit. I like my cardigans crocheted. I like my blanket crocheted unless it's an extra super chunky blanket, then I like it knit. I love stockinette stitch. I love just the look of knit purl stockinette. It looks so neat and tidy and beautiful to me. I definitely have some preference on my makes, so that's the only reason I switched to knitting. I think if you want to crochet this yarn, it's still really beautiful, but I just made the switch. And I'll probably make something out of this. I don't know. You can do a lot with rectangles, squares, awkward shaped things. I'm going to put it in my scraps bin, and I'm sure that it'll come in handy at some point. So this is my one finished object. It's just a scarf. I might give it away. I like to make my scarves long enough so that they can be worn multiple ways, either wrapped or, you know, worn kind of the more like classic scarf way, and I like them long so that I could tuck them into my coat. I do live in the Midwest, so it means we have very cold winters and a lot of wind, and I just enjoyed the process of making this super simple scarf, so that's what I made. It felt great to finally use this yarn. I've had it in my stash for a while and I wasn't really sure what to make out of it. So I think it's a really great yarn. I'm going to do a yarn review on the mandala yarns because I've been using a lot of them lately and I really enjoy them. So look for that to be something that is in the works. And that is my one finished object for the last 2 weeks, which I actually feel really good about that since I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 current works, which I will now talk about. So my 7 current works. It is spooky season, it is fall, and I have been using the Hobie sock yarn. I can't remember the colorway of this, but it's one of the Halloween colorways, and I'll put it in the bottom. But these are my socks so far. And I'm pretty far with this one. Definitely could be further, but I don't work on them very often, to be honest. So I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've made on them. These are going to be a gift for a really cool coworker. And yeah, these are one of my many projects I have done this week. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to focus on finishing all of the projects that I have started. I'm not going to allow myself to finish new projects, the exception being the next thing that I'm going to show you. No, wait. The exception being something I'm really into making right now, which I will talk about in a little bit. So this is a current work in progress. My Halloween sock yarn, Hobie. Really cute, really fun to work with. This is a DK yarn, double knit yarn, and they're great. I'm really excited to finish these socks. My second work in progress is yarn by, I get this wrong every time. I want to say it's Yarn Loving Yarn Lady by Lisa or something. I'll put it up. But these are my socks for my daughter. I started making them for last Christmas and didn't quite finish them. So I'm ready to turn the heel on these. So this will be something I'm working on this week. If you follow me on social media, you'll see a lot of updates on these. Woo! This yarn is just beautiful, hand-dyed yarn. I found this dyer on Etsy and I'm a really big fan. It's just, it's tonal, it's speckled, it's beautiful, it's got little bits of pink in it. I'm a pink girly, so pink obsessed. Yeah, I love making socks. I've been making socks for about 3 or 4 years now. I find it totally relaxing, totally engaging. If you think you can't do it, you can. I'm not that great of a knitter, and I figured it out with Crazy Sock Ladies tutorials, which I will link below, because if you think you can't, you definitely can. I figured it out. It took about a year of trial and error, but that's because I was trying on double pointed needles and I found that 9mm circular needles actually work a lot better for me. So these needles that I'm using to make my socks, I'm using the same needles on both these pairs of socks. You just can't really tell, but they're the Chow red. They're red. They're really pretty. Red needles. And they are great for sock knitting, lace knitting, those more delicate stitches. I love them. I can't knit socks with anything else, to be perfectly honest, but it took me a while to find out what technique worked for me. I'm still working on this giant green blanket. This yarn is Hombi's yarn from Amazon. The reason why I haven't finished this blanket, I'm about 2 balls in and I want to be 8 balls in. I want it to be a very big blanket, and as I mentioned, I'm pink obsessed, and I'm also in a green era right now, and I feel that green and pink look really, really beautiful together. And so I also love green, pink, and yellow together. Those are the colors of my home. If you've seen it around in my vlogs, you know. I haven't finished these because I need circular knitting needles. This is a lot of weight to hold on straight needles, and with straight needles the weight kind of goes in like your wrist and arm, and because I want to do 8 balls of this and I'm only 2 balls in, I think it's time to switch to circular knitting needles, which are in the mail. They're on the way. I'm still fully invested in this project. I'm really, really, really excited to finish it. I just don't have the proper tools right now, so when they come in, I will be switching to those and giving my wrists a little bit of relief. I think a really good tip for all knitters and crocheters is to be kind to your wrists, to your joints, to your hands, to your body in general, right? If you can be. That's the idea of life, right? To be kind to your body and feel good if you can, as well as you can feel. But I'm just into taking breaks, into stretching, into being mindful about which tools we're using and whether or not they work the best for our bodies. And I have more of that yarn, the Hombies yarn from Amazon. It's an extra super bulky chenille. And the only reason, I do hate to support Amazon, the only reason I am getting it from there is because I have a Prime membership that a family member paid for, and I just wanted to see what was on there, and I've kind of fallen down the rabbit hole. But ideally, I do prefer to support local buyers, but I am on a budget. I am a single working parent, as I mentioned. So getting 8 balls of yarn for $40 or $30 is really, really good. And I'm making these for holiday gifts. In this project bag contains a hot mess that I am devoted to figuring out tonight. I will put in a little clip of what I'm talking about right here. I work in social services supporting adults with intellectual disabilities, and one of my consumers requested that I make their teddy bear a bunch of clothes, and so I'm working on clothes for their teddy bear, and it's really cute, but I have like 8 different skeins of yarn going right now. I mean, if you open it, it is just, it's a lot. It's a lot right now. But I have faith that I can pull it together. Check out this bag, by the way. This is a project bag by Fancy Boy Designs, and a designer that I found on Etsy. Fancy Boy Designs. And look, the zipper has a little tiny mushroom. It's so cute. It has this little wrist strap, so you can strap it to your wrist, walk around with it. And the inside is this really cute floral, and it has pockets. It's a really well constructed bag. I have had this bag, I think, going on 3 or 4 years, and it is machine washable because I have spilled in it before, and it's held up really, really, really well. So I definitely recommend for project bags, Fancy Boy Designs. This is a really, I get compliments on it everywhere I go. And I'm like, thank you. It's a knitting bag. And people don't even know that knitting like bags are a thing. And really, I mean, you could just use it as I pretty much use it as a regular bag. I'm not really big on carrying purses. I prefer to have like I bring a book bag or my knitting with me, or a knitting bag. So sometimes my wallet and my phone and my keys go in here, and I just go. And it's held up really, really well over the years. Like, the seams are still amazingly intact for how much I've used and abused this bag. So thank you, Fancy Boy Design. Love you. Now I would like to introduce a segment called This Is How I Ruined It, and This Is Why I Should Have Known Better. Because I've been experimenting a lot lately, and with experimentation comes a few craftastrophes, as I like to refer to them as, which is a disaster that is also a crafty disaster. So a craftastrophe, just an all-out shit show craft project. And my first craftastrophe is something that I'm really, really interested in making and really, really proud of making. And I know you're probably thinking, how can you think of it as a disaster and also think of it as something really cool that you'd like to continue making? Well, I'll show you. You make up your mind. I've shown some friends and like the consensus is mixed, but I will say that my friends that I trust the most with fashion things absolutely hate it. And my friends that are maybe less fashionable seem to think it's a cool idea, like they're into the idea. So I don't really know. Tell me what you think in the comments if you have an opinion. I made one of my favorite t-shirts into a poncho, and like arguably I ruined the t-shirt, right? So it's a t-shirt from the movie The Shining, which I love. The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's version, one of my favorite. And it says the Overlook Hotel, which is where they stay in the movie, and just kind of the classic image of Shelley Duvall screaming at the door. You know, the axe is coming through the door. It says red rum. It just all these references to the movie on this really cool, like kind of old school tattoo design. But I made it into a poncho. As you can see, a poncho was made. Yep, and here's where I messed up, okay? Okay. I didn't really, originally, I crocheted the two edges of the poncho together, like this. Instead of making, you know, like a poncho, I just made like a blanket attached to a t-shirt. And that was a weird thing to do. And so I had to rip that out and completely start over again. And when I was doing that, I realized a lot of things about this project. I realized I think I'd like to use a tighter knit t-shirt. This is a pretty loose t-shirt. It's a pretty old t-shirt. It's a favorite, like I said, so I've worn it a lot. And I think that I'd like to use something that could maintain its shape a little bit better. Also, I did not color match. I know better. This would look so good if I did like this like purpley blue color, a gray, a red and black, red, white, and black. But did I do any of those colors? No. Why? Probably because I really like those colors and I don't have any scraps, and I'm trying not to really buy yarn right now except these giant blankets that I keep making. So I used what I have, which is what I have. This is my stash over here. A lot of it's gifted to me, so I don't really have a lot of like control. This is leftover from a cardigan that I made, and it's left over from a cardigan that I made, this neon color, and then this jade color was from a mystery box, and then the black is just scrap that I had. So I think I'm going to continue making these ponchos. I think these are really, really, really cool. I like the idea. I like what I did here. I don't think it was well executed, and I think, you know, it's amazing how much goes into the planning process of knitting and crocheting, and sometimes I forget that, even though I've been doing it for a really long time. So don't be like me, spare yourself some trouble, don't ruin your favorite t-shirt. I'll still probably wear this. I'm not that big into matching anyway, but it's not ideal. I wish I would have color matched this better. It makes it look really homemade, which is fine, but I like a little bit more of a polished look. So it is what it is, and I'm moving on from it. A friend suggested I add a pocket, so I do have, ooh, Better keep all my hooks together, I'll never find them. I do have a pocket going out of this scrap yarn. I believe it's Caron Simply Soft Black, which I really like. It's a strong yarn, a strong budget yarn. And I mean, like, it's quite a strong yarn. It's hard to rip it, so I think it'll be really good for a poncho pocket. I might not add the pocket. If I put it on there and it makes it look bad slash worse, then I probably won't stick with the pocket. But I'm going to give it a try because it came from a trusted advisor, my brother. The second thing I ruined is really, really a shame. And there's no reason why it was ruined other than me being impatient. I am really excited about this hat that I'm making. This is the Pearl Soho Classic Ribbed Beanie. I have made this hat several times. It is one of my favorite gift knits to make. I love making it for people. I think it's flattering on everyone. It's a very forgiving shape. It's a very forgiving size. And the rib, although I'm not a huge fan of 1x1 rib, right? Like, who is? It's knit one, purl one for 8¼ inches. But you get this beautiful product. Look how lovely. And this is not an expensive yarn. This is not an expensive yarn. This is Caron Simply Soft in the color Jade Green. And it looks so nice. It's just a really nice pattern. It's the pattern I make for people when they say, make me a beanie. I don't exactly know what I want, but I know I want a beanie. It's beanie shaped. It's great. It does take a little bit of time. Like, I would never sell these because they take so long to make. They take me like, well, if I'm making socks and things, they take me like, I don't know, maybe a month or two. They take me a while. But anyway, here's how I ruined it, right? This is my second attempt. And here's how I ruined it. Even though I know better and even though I've made this hat several times, I got really excited about like this color. Like I said, I'm loving greens right now and how it looked and the shape of it and everything. And I decided to make a headband, which is fine. I can always use a good headband. However, this is not a good headband. And the reason it is not a good headband is because I did not use a stretchy bind off. I used just like a really simple garter stitch bind off. And I don't know why. I bound off and garter stitch, and so it created this like wrinkly edge. Ugh, it's wavy. Why is it wavy? I know why, because I didn't give it a chance not to be. See, this edge is all springy, bouncy, ribby, and this edge was bound off poorly by an unskilled person. And so it is a headband, kind of. It functions as a headband, but it's not like exactly comfortable. I just don't, because the edging is, the bind off is not. There are several different bind off methods that you can use if you're new to knitting, just so you know. And when you're making things that go around your head, you probably should use a stretchier bind off because it will allow your accessory to maintain its shape. This is something I know, but I did not utilize this information when I decided, for whatever reason, to make this into a headband. So that's how I ruined the original beanie. I can recover. I did waste about, like, I'm not a very fast crafter, and I have a lot of projects, and I work about 50 or 60 hours a week, plus I have kids, so time is a little bit limited. I have to sleep at some point. And so I did waste a couple of days making this poorly constructed headband. But it happens, whatever. All is fair in life and craft. Thanks for joining me. I had a lot of fun. In the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be finishing these projects, making things for my very first market in over 5 years. Hey! And making 10 different items that friends have requested from me. So click like, comment, subscribe, join me, give me a line, send me a message, whatever. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks so much. I think there are good things to come. Thanks so much. Take care.